Hello, my name is Jordan Kester. Today I dissected my mammal eye. This is the eye of a sheep. I started by trimming the excess ligaments and adipose tissue away from the outside of the eye. I then cut it in half, giving me an anterior and a posterior half of the eye. First things you notice looking at the outside of this eye is the tough white outer covering of the eye is the sclera. On the back of the posterior half of the eye, you can see where the optic nerve was attached, right there. And on the front of the anterior half of the eye was the cornea. This is the thick lens that allows light to enter the eye. This was right in this hole here. Opening the eye up, it was filled with this jelly blob here. This is the vitreous body, and it didn't really come out in one piece for me, but as you can see, it was filled with what would be called the vitreous humor. And on the front of the vitreous body here, anterior side, there was kind of an indentation in it right there where the lens sat. So this is the lens right here. This is anterior. This is the posterior side. So the posterior side of the lens was nestled right into the vitreous body right here. The lens was sitting up against the iris, which you can see here. The iris forms the pupil, which is the adjustable space where the light goes through after it passes through the cornea. The zonula ciliaris is this ring right around here, little tiny ligaments that were holding the lens in place, creating the anterior chamber of the eye that was filled with the aqueous humor, mostly water, that sits up front between the cornea and the lens. Looking at the posterior half of the eye, flip it over here. We have just on the other side of the optic nerve entering, right here would be the blind spot. That's the main pathway where the nerve comes through, and a spot where there are no cones or rods to pick up sensory information. The retina is this membrane here that was laid across the majority of the interior surface of the eye. And the retina is what holds all the cones and rods that supply us with our sense of vision. Beneath the retina is this darker layer that sits between the retina and the sclera. That is the choroid. And this iridescent portion of the choroid would be the tapetum lucidium. that allows this creature to see in the dark a little bit better than us humans. And that is all the parts that I learned about in the sheep eye.